Hey ladies and gentlemen, Ralph's Automotive. I'm going to do a quick video. I wasn't going to do this video, but more or less I'm going to do this for the customer. I figure why not go ahead and do the video. This is a 2007 Suzuki Forenza. Get that right. And I put the AC gauges. Oh, customer complaint on that car is AC, you know, it's kind of like half in and half out. And I put the gauges on it and I figured out that it was overcharged, you know. Also on the high side it got cold, which is backwards a little bit. So generally I'm going to condemn on something like that. I'm going to condemn the expansion valve, and I'll show you the expansion valve. This is the expansion valve. I'm going to go ahead and go through the process of removal, and I told them I was going to check the system. Of course, we recovered the refrigerant out of it, you know, and as I figured, it was actually in fact overcharged, and not by a whole lot, but anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and step to that process real quick. It's not a big deal on these cars to do it. It's relatively easy. Some of the tools you're going to need, there's like a 10 millimeter socket and ratchet, wrench, whatever, you know, because the expansion valve sits over here. Of course, by the firewall, this thing here is wide open. Show you right there where that sits. And you can move those lines. You know, if you follow these lines, they run underneath the air filter. The high side runs over here underneath it as well. Comes over here. The dryer, accumulator dryer, sits over there on the other side. We'll get into that in a little bit. This is going to be a multiple parts video. Whoa, where are you going? It's going to be a multiple parts video because the parts are actually not in the store. They were supposed to be, and turned out they're not in the store now, so they have to order them. But anyway, I told the customer, I got the car here, I'm going to take some of the stuff apart and get that ready to clean it up. And when I say some of the stuff, I'm talking about the lines that go to the compressor and all that good stuff. I'm just going to unhook the lines here, and we'll go ahead and be able to clean them up. But anyway, I started out, of course, the air cleaner. It sits right here. Here's your intake and throttle body. So the air cleaner, big button. Let me grab it. This is the assembly for it. It sits right there. You loosen these 8 millimeter bolts. You loosen them up on the air filter housing, and that'll give you access to all of this here. We are going to remove the air cleaner housing, 10 mil over here, 10 mil bolt over here on the side. We'll unbolt it, and that'll pretty much get us in the clear. This is actually a pretty quick job. It's not that involved, and please don't get that wrong when I say quick. I mean, it's still, you got to take your time and do it right. You know, for the expansion valve, you wouldn't remove the box, but since I'm taking the hoses off, I'm going to have to remove the whole air cleaner box. But anyway, to get back to the expansion valve, and that's where the situation is a little bit tricky. So you can unbolt, like I said, 10 mil. The only problem you're going to have is on the expansion valve itself. Let me turn that screen around so I can see. Make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. But anyway, you got these studs in here. Now on these studs right here, I don't know that the camera can see that, but you're going to need an E5 inverted torques. It's an E5 is what this is. You're going to have that. I highly recommend you do not use pliers. You'll mess that up. You'll never want to get it tightened up right. You won't be able to torque it up right because you'll have to undo this. This is what holds the expansion valve in place. That's the only downside to doing it yourself. You have to, if you don't have those sockets, you'll have to get you one of them sockets. Here is the socket. That's what that looks like. You know, and that's E5, like I said. That is the only specialty tool you're going to need. But anyway, it's as easy as removing your 10 millimeters. You know, removing that and remove the studs out of here, and you'll be able to pull the expansion valve. So now to finish the story, which I didn't do earlier, the reason why I'm condemning the compressor right now, I hope I said that. What I found is right away, we found a whole lot of black inside the expansion valve. I seen it on the fitting down here. I seen it in my core, basically. You know, I seen a whole lot of black. The camera probably won't pick it up, but anyway. Alright, that's as good as we're going to get. A shot of it. These lines are black. They should not be black. So I'm going to condemn the compressor in this thing. You know, I knew when I was listening to the compressor in the first place, I knew it didn't sound super healthy, but the fact that it's got all these black deposits in there, you know, that thing is on the way out. It does actually work. Don't confuse that. You know, the compressor actually does work, but it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So anyway, to get back to the lines here, like I said, we are going to disconnect these lines. We'll get that done. So here in the back, we've got this loose. Of course, we've got our pressure switch over here. We'll disconnect it. Then we got a 10 millimeter on the bottom right there that we're going to have to disconnect. We'll take the 10 millimeter over here. We're going to take it out first. We're going to get the big hose out of the way first. And that being said, we're going to have to reach down here. The compressor, that damn camera sitting flopping around. But that bolt right down there, get the light right there, that big bolt, or yeah, it's a bolt. That disconnects the big hose and a little hose right there. I guess you see it better on this side right here. That's what disconnects that port. So we'll go ahead and turn, get that bolt out of there, turn all that loose, and get our line out of here. And we're going to do that next. It seems like an odd size, but it may not be. Well, that's odd size, but that's 16 millimeter. I was sworn that was a 15. 15 doesn't fit on it. So 16 it is. The filter inside the compressor is really not that bad, but oh yeah, there's actual particles on the other side, so remember that accumulator dryer, it's going to absorb quite a bit of that. So let's move to the 10 mils real quick and get that out of the way. do, like I said, that will bring, we can now bring the bigger hose, we can bring it out of the way. And the reason we want to bring it out of the way is because there's another 10 mil on the firewall down here. We've got to get it off as well. So that part of it disconnects the high side here. So we have that loose. One more down here. I can get to that without a, nope, need an extension for that one. Not do that by hand. Power steering pump switch is mounted right over the top of it, so we're going to have to disconnect it. That's got me freed up. So now we have to move to the other side of the vehicle. I don't know if I can actually get this in the shot or not, but anyway, we'll try to get something here, see what we got to do here. So this line does not have a disconnect, so at this point in time, we won't have to disassemble the grill. We got to get it out of here and see if we can get to it. Going to the front, or whether we have to take, I do believe we have to take the whole front skirt off of it. I think that's what's going to have to happen. As a matter of fact, probably not going to mess around too long. On the skirts, generally you find a couple of screws, you pull a fender liner back, you find a couple of screws, and then you can pull the skirt. Just take a quick peek. When you're working on that plastic, use caution. There's only so much give in there before it starts ripping in the corners or cracking the paint, so you have to be cautious with that. I think I am going to be able to get in there. That does look like a 12, maybe a 13. On it. Stupid thing is fighting me, of course. They always start off easy and nice and then go to put these screws down, one in the back. So Got another screw right there in the back. Might be doing something good here. Oh yeah. Can we get it? Can we get it? Can we get it? I'm thinking we probably can. Oh yeah. Look at that. No time. No time flat. And that's all she wrote right there for the line. You know, sometimes you just gotta go to an extreme to do it, but so here's the full assembly. Twist, turn, come around. Okay, I'm gonna give you a shot of this. Pretty black. So it's definitely got compressor damage, you know. So anyway, this one here, we'll have to flush it out real good, and that's basically why I wanted to do some of the work. But anyway, put the headlight back on. A lot of times this stuff takes, and of course I've said it before, you know, making these videos, you know, a lot of times takes longer than it is to do the actual work. That's good enough. You know, somebody would say, some people might say, well, you're doubling the work because you're already working on it. You got to do it again later on. The car was here in the first place, so I had to do that anyway. So it's not a big deal to me. You know, this obviously, you know, put this in perspective. The couple of minutes it took to do this, you know, and it's going to save me time later on the job. So I don't care. You know, I'm perfectly fine with it. Again, we can see the black inside the lines. So get the whole thing in there. This is what you're looking at. This flex part here. And of course, there was no problem with, there was no leak complaint. I'm not saying there's no problem with the leak. All of the seals are going to be replaced when the vehicle returns. I said some of you might be complaining about having done work here that I'm gonna have to do more later on. That's whatever, you know. I was already here, like I said, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's going to have to be done. I didn't do hardly any extra. You still got to undo all the lines, and I got them laying here. So anyway, so this right there, I got us a remanufactured air compressor, by the way. New is ouch. I would not be putting a new air compressor in this vehicle. And that's not me being mean, that's me telling you the truth. That's $500 for an AC compressor, and I don't know, I don't think so. You know, that's rather pricey. And the biggest thing that I found over the years, I guess I'll touch a little bit on that, when it comes to these air compressors, you know, buying them, a lot of that's got to do with volume. You know, how many are being serviced, you know, the amount of vehicles out there. So this is Suzuki, okay? You don't see a lot of them in the first place, you know. That's probably the reason why the parts stores don't carry them, you know, because, well, there's just not that many around. Unlike a massively popular vehicle, you know, the AC compressor is readily available, and it's a 50-50 shot on that, what I'm about to say, but sometimes they're cheaper, you know, quite a bit cheaper, especially considering the technology within the AC compressor. This one here really is, it's a basic compressor, but, you know, the availability on it, you know, the people that have them and rebuild them, it just is what it is. All the parts stores can get them, just nobody got it. So I'm going to slap the air cleaner back on here, and stay tuned for part 2, as I hope it'll help somebody. Yeah, I'm out. I decided to go ahead and take a quick peek before I go all crazy and tell you something that ain't even the case. So I took a front piece of plastic off right there, and that pretty much is the magic. So I was obviously wrong. The compressor is sitting right here. You flip that thing around. Yeah, we got oil. He knows that. Compressor is sitting right there. The dryer tube, accumulator dryer tube, is sitting right there. Easy to get to right here. I don't know that I have to do anything else. I can reach up in there and take this condenser out of here and get it clean. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and try. Don't mind if I do. See what we got here. I think we can reach most of it. With my little ratchet here. Well, not my little ratchet, my big ratchet actually. So $8mm on the bracket. Okay, you can get one. You will not be able to get the other one. I don't see that. Well, with this setup, oh, come on off of there. There it goes. Come on. Go the rest of the way. Come on. Oh, looky there. Perfect. And I'm not for sure about the line here and how big this or how long the line is on the back side. We'll have to do a little bit of investigation on that. And sometimes I get ahead of myself a little bit and get this wire loom out of my way. Okay, so like I said, the accumulator dryer, it has absorbed a lot of the metal. And hopefully, whoa, get my noggin out of the way. Hopefully, we can see this. There's your metal particles. You can see it on this rag over here, right there. There's your metal particles. That all goes into the bag. That's that. Oh, me. Can we get it? Can we get it? No, we cannot. Got another. Dust is flowing out of it. Can we get it from the top? Can we get it from the top? Funny. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that one. That's where we might run into a problem. Now, it is not necessary for it to come out, actually. We'll get right down to it. It's not necessary for that to come out. I can clean it right there on the car. It makes it easier. If I'm able to squeeze it out of here, you know, that's going to make it quite a bit easier on me. That's why I'm even trying it. You know, if I spend a few minutes and get it out in the open, that's all the easier on me later on. Wished I could get the ratchet on there, but I don't think so. Whoa! I gotta stretch. Yep. Ta-da! So, now I gotta figure out where the other one is at. As a matter of fact, I can't see it, let alone do anything with it. As a matter of fact, for those of you, I've already seen it. For those of you that don't have a lift like I got, take 5, remove your 2 headlights. That's how you get to the bolt. I guess if I'd have looked in there a while ago, I would have already told you that, but I'm standing underneath it here right now, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, well, you know, I see the edge of my headlight there, so that's how you do it. Gotta be. I have a hard time getting my arm up in there. And there is a prime example of why I say sometimes removing something little makes all the difference in the world. Now, of course, there's no certain guarantee that I'm going to get this thing out of here. I just don't know. And this is the one where I said the bolt is coming from the bottom, comes through here. Accumulator dryer sits right on top of it, so this thing don't look that bad. I can see through it fairly good. Don't look bad at all. And, you know, there's a lot of guys that say, well, the party lights get out there, they're hard to get out. They can be cleaned good enough. You know, if you're on a budget, not everybody can afford to spend $1,000 on an AC system repair. You know, not everybody can afford that. So get over it. We don't want to, you know, we're going to clean it good enough to where obviously there's not going to be a problem with it killing the new compressor. But there's also sometimes we know we got to ask ourselves, you know, do I really need to do this? You know, do I really need to replace it? And in this case here, I want to say no. My flush machine, it recirculates. You know, it goes through filters and all that good stuff. I'll be making a video, but yeah, we can clean it. If it doesn't flow, we'll have to replace it. All right, so guys, that's it. I mean, the compressor, that's, I don't know, 15, 20 more minutes for the compressor. We'll remove it from there. It's really simple. The car is wide open. Yeah, I'm gonna end the video right here, so if that helps you, great. If you like the video, even better. If you dislike it, well, I don't know what to tell you. So, I'm out till next time. I think I just got enough juice in there to show you this real quick. I sawed the thing in half, and I took the desiccant out of here. Let go! Some bitch. So, you're looking at the insert here, and as you can see, metal, black, you know, that shouldn't look like that. Then that's not me cutting it apart. You know, the black is from the compressor, the shiny stuff on the inside. If you look at it, not the desiccant, but you look past it, there's like these little bitty tiny slivers, and that's not what I just saw. That's what is inside the system. That's what's going through there when the compressor goes out. But anyway, I figured bring you along for that one. So again, this is all good and black. See right here, you can see the black coming off this felt or whatever they use. You can see it come off of there. Oh, you can't see it because I didn't hold it in the camera. But anyway, here you can see, you know, that's that same stuff that we see on the bottom here. So there you go. Alright guys, girls, whatever, I've got this AC flush machine. I got it hooked up, and give you a little bit of insight what I'm doing here. Basically what's happening here is that we're going through the line here. This is the lower line. I'll put that back on the condenser, and of course we're coming out of the back side. And what this is, I bought this flush machine here to try it out, and you know, I've used it like only a couple of times, not even a handful of times. Let me turn that screen around so you can see. But anyway, I like it. What you do is you fill the tank up, and from the tank it pressurizes through the hose, and it all flows through the hose, and it comes back around and goes back into our main tank. So the benefits, to doing it like this is when you flushing with just a can, something like that, odds are you're going to lose the content of the can. They're rather pricey. I use a gallon jug of it. It's pricey as well, but at least I don't lose as much. This will go through a filter and gets reused. So basically, I'll show you what's happening here. We're going to start to flush. It goes through the filter before it returns back into our storage tank here. We're going to flush both ways. I'll show you what I mean by that. Well, that's starting to pull air. I'll close our valve. And there is a check ball in the lower fitting. That's obviously letting that fluid return back into it. You're supposed to pull that and hold it till it drains back in, but I'm too lazy to do that, so I normally just undo the hose on top there and just open the valve back up, and that way the air can get through it. So now we filled our tank back up. Get you back out so you can see the whole thing. But basically that's the long and the short of it. Close that valve, put our compressor back on here. As soon as we open that valve up, the check valve, of course, will go up and won't let it flow back. That air compressor pump up. It was explained in other videos, this thing here runs on about 90 to 100 pounds, as you just heard. Get too high up, the safety will pop on it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we got air again. So what it amounts to, now I'm going to let it flow again. Okay, we're going to get air, of course, the air that was trapped in the system. We'll get that.
Hey, Dad.
So as we can see, that's nicely flowing through there. I think this is a better way to do it. This gets them parts cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead I'm going to go ahead and narrate a little bit over here because to be fair to the manufacturer of this fine piece of equipment right there, I like the tool, but I'm not using it properly. For instance, what I mean by that, I keep fiddling with the main air hose on top, which is not necessary. What you should be doing is close the pump it up with air, close the valve up top off, and operate your machine with the valve on the blue hose on the bottom. That's how you're supposed to do it. That's why I made the mess a while ago. If you've noticed it, it came gushing out of the top. So this is the second time I did it. I'm not using it properly, so that is my fault. It's not the machine. The machine works perfect. I just want to add that in there. It is what it is. You know, I'm going to cut part of this and we're going to move forward. I'm going to show some more the flushing process and go from there. I think all in all, this is a real good investment to have a machine like that. You know, if it saves the customer a little bit of money, me demonstrating, talking about it, you know, again, you know, making a video, taking longer. So this normally don't take very long, you know, once you get used to your parts, you know. Of course, I had to buy a kit to be able to do this, so, you know, once you are able to get this hooked up in no time, you know, once you know what fittings you're going to use, you know, and all that good stuff, not that big of a deal anymore. So I did it this time. I did it like that so we can fill it back up. And like I said before, if you're thinking that crud is recirculating, it's not. It's caught by this filter. What this thing does, it deposits heavy in here, goes through here, goes up into the filter, and from the filter back out. It's a really neat system. If you want to wait for this to happen like this, it'll do it automatically. Know the tools you're working with. Perhaps we can slow it down a bit as far as not opening that valve just all the way. Yeah, at this point in time, I'm really just playing. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut the video off right there so you get the idea. So at the end of the day, that should clean the system pretty good. You know, there may be some things in there that we cannot get out. You know, I don't doubt that, but generally, That is not the case. This is a acceptable way of doing an AC system. It'll maintain the warranty. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's being flushed properly, and the proof is in the pudding here. You know, this is being flushed and it's been done right, and there's metal particles in there that I can see, you know, but watching it like this is kind of hard to do. The camera may not pick it up. Whatever, guys. I'm gonna shut the video camera off here. Now you know. Now you've seen how to flush a system. There you go.